are still pretty small, but later in this video, that's gonna change and he's gonna get a lot more dangerous. All of the stages of his life, this is gonna get insane. But next, I think it's time we start feeding him because he needs to start growing.
Fill up the sink for Godzilla to learn how to swim in.
And then for the front side, it's going to be filled up with water so that he has space to...
Is Godzilla as a baby. And this is Godzilla as a massive beast destroying a city.
And today I'm gonna simulate what it would be like to raise Godzilla as a pet.
I'm gonna be building him habitats, feeding him, introducing him to other animals to simulate all of the stages of his life. This is gonna get insane. But to start out, here he is as a baby. He's sleeping right now, so I'm gonna wake him up.
Right now, Godzilla is only about 4 inches tall, with tiny teeth, tiny claws, tiny spikes on his back, and a long tail.
This guy's gonna get absolutely massive. So right now, he's the smallest and most harmless that he will ever be.
In order to see what it's like to raise Godzilla as a pet, I'm going to simulate all of his daily tasks.
Starting off with giving him some toys and seeing how friendly he is.
Now I'm gonna offer him a finger. Okay, luckily his teeth are still pretty small, but later in this video, that's gonna change and he's gonna get a lot more dangerous. But next, I think it's time we start feeding him because he needs to start growing.
So here's a montage of him trying a bunch of different foods, starting out with some berries. Then I gave him a watermelon. Now I'm gonna give him a pancake, and finally, a tiny chicken nugget. And he's gonna wash all of this down with some orange juice.
Later in the video, I'm gonna feed him a lot more, even larger foods, but for now, he's pretty small, so he can't really eat much.
But the next thing he's gonna need is a habitat that he can actually live in.
So I'm gonna build him a home inside of this tank with everything that a baby Godzilla would need.
For now, he can just live in here. But eventually, when he gets bigger, he's gonna be moved to a zoo.
Since Godzilla can live in both land and water, I'm gonna make half of this a land environment and half of it water.
And while I build this, I'm going to fill up the sink for Godzilla to learn how to swim in. Hopefully, this keeps him entertained for a little bit.
For the land, there's gonna be a giant structure of rocks in the back for him to climb on and a cave so that he can have his own privacy.
I wonder what he's gonna do in there. There's also gonna be a bunch of plants and mini trees in the environment to simulate what his real world environment would actually be like.
And then for the front side, it's going to be filled up with water so that he has space to swim. Right now, it's not that deep, but he's going to start growing really fast.
Okay, now the entire habitat is done with everything that he needs to survive as a baby. He has a bunch of hiding spots in the plants. He has a bunch of room to walk around, a cave to sleep, water to swim, and enough space for him to grow.
This looks a lot like the wild, so hopefully he feels like he's at home and it's time for him to move in.
Answer. Godzilla slowly made himself at home. He explored around, took a dip in the water, went inside the cave.
He found a spot to sleep, let me feed him by hand, but now I'm gonna see if he lets me pet him.
And even though he doesn't look like the most friendly creature in the world, he still let me pet him on screaming the head.
Over the next few days, he seemed to really enjoy this place, since he was pretty friendly and has been growing faster and faster by the day.
I'm going to introduce him to some other common pets to see how he reacts. Starting off with a dog.
Next, what about a cat? Okay, he seemed to like them, but now I'm gonna feed him a live animal.
Since there's a bunch of water in his habitat, I added in some fish, and now we're gonna see if he can hunt them down. And over the course of the next few days, he ate all of his fish buddies up and grew even larger. He's now over 2 feet tall.
And the next thing I'm gonna do is take this creature out into the real world because soon he's gonna outgrow this habitat and we'll need to get used to being outside.
But little does he know what's going to happen once he starts living outside and grows much bigger. He's going to become the big...
But first, I need to give him a bath because he smells kind of bad. So now I'm gonna take him outside and simulate raising him like a kid.
I took him to the park, I took him to the mall, and took him to a restaurant.
Next, I took him to the beach, and he's gonna swim in the ocean for the very first time. He was able to swim pretty well. He made friends with the turtle. He found another friend, but decided to eat him. But he couldn't go too deep yet because of his size and swimming ability.
But something tells me he's gonna be back here later in this video. But now he's getting pretty hungry.
So I brought him back home, and I'm gonna introduce him to some new foods.
Okay, but now we're gonna fast forward over a year of him growing, eating, slowly outgrowing his tank. Here's what he looks like now. He no longer lived in his tank and instead slept on a human bed. He started eating human-sized food, started walking around outside, scaring kids. But unfortunately, Godzilla was getting too large to keep at home as a pet. So, for the next stage of his journey, he's going to be...
Even though he's grown to love his habitat at home and has been raised here since he was a baby, he needs more space to live a happy, healthy life.